Hello, everyone. My name is Ashley Trueluck, and I am a now graduated master's student in learning design and technology at George Mason University. Today, I'll be presenting Under Pressure, a virtual reality training designed to reduce blood pressure measurement errors through immersive learning and scenario-based practice. This happens millions of times every single day in clinics, hospitals, and doctors' offices around the world. Blood pressure measurement is such a routine part of healthcare that people often don't realize how frequently mistakes can occur. And honestly, these mistakes are usually pretty small. Things like using the wrong cuff size, skipping the patient rest period, or placing the cuff incorrectly. But those small mistakes can actually have a really big impact. Inaccurate blood pressure readings can lead to misdiagnosis, poor treatment decisions, and missed warning signs for serious cardiovascular conditions. And what makes this especially interesting to me is that blood pressure measurement is considered such a routine skill that people often don't realize that they're doing it wrong. So that led me to a bigger question. How do we improve a skill that feels routine but still has persistent performance gaps? To explore this challenge, I designed Under Pressure, a virtual reality training focused on improving blood pressure measurement accuracy through immersive scenario-based practice. The project combines healthcare simulation, instructional design, and immersive learning in a way that allows clinicians to safely practice and receive immediate feedback. At the center of this project is the question: how can virtual reality training improve accuracy in blood pressure measurement among clinical staff? And more specifically, how can immersive learning help reduce some of the most common clinical errors? The simulation focuses on three key areas where blood pressure measurement errors commonly occur. And instead of just reading about best practices, learners actually practice them in an interactive environment. The first activity focuses on enforcing the recommended 5-minute rest period before taking a blood pressure reading, which sounds pretty simple until you introduce interruptions, impatient patients, or time pressure, which is exactly what happens in real clinical environments. The second activity focuses on cuff selection. Learners choose the correct cuff size based on patient characteristics, helping address one of the most common sources of inaccurate readings in practice. And as the simulation progresses, scenarios can become more nuanced and require more critical decision making. The final activity focuses on cuff placement using a patient avatar and real-time visual feedback. This allows learners to practice psychomotor skills in a low-risk environment while still receiving immediate guidance and correction. One of the things I wanted this project to emphasize is that assessment is built directly into the learning experience. The simulation tracks things like rest time adherence, cuff selection accuracy, placement accuracy, efficiency, and corrective actions during the activity. The goal isn't just to tell learners whether they were right or wrong. It's to create opportunities for reflection, feedback, and repeated practice. So the simulation includes automatic tracking, standardized scenarios, and immediate feedback after each interaction. Because this is currently a prototype, these values are illustrative and represent how future improvements could be measured during the evaluation phases. But the overall goal is to demonstrate measurable improvement across critical blood pressure measurement steps after participating in the VR training. What excites me about immersive learning is that it's able to combine cognitive, affective, and psychomotor learning into one experience. Instead of passively consuming information, learners are actively practicing, making decisions, and applying skills in context. And for healthcare education especially, that kind of experiential learning can be really powerful. Of course, there are still limitations to consider, including VR hardware access and usability challenges for some learners. Future work includes pilot testing, comparison with traditional training methods, and potentially expanding the experience into additional formats like a desktop simulation or potentially augmented reality. Ultimately, Under Pressure explores how immersive learning can help reduce preventable clinical errors through safe, repeatable, and engaging practice. Because when it comes to blood pressure measurement, accuracy really does matter. Thank you so much.